Hello, welcome to Bragway TV. If you are new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. Biography of Miriam Makeba. Originally named Zenzile Miriam Makeba and popularly known as Miriam Makeba, as well as Mama Africa, was a famous South African singer, songwriter, actress, civil rights activist, and United Nations Goodwill Ambassador. She was one of the most popular Black African performers that the world witnessed in the 20th century. She was born on the 4th of March 1932 in Prospect Township, Johannesburg, Union of South Africa. Her father was Xhosa and her mother was Swazi. She grew up in a part of South Africa, Sophiatown, that really witnessed segregation. At a very young age, she was forced to seek out many jobs after the death of her father when she was only 6 years old. At the age of 17, she was married, but the marriage was allegedly an abusive one. She got married to James Kube, a policeman in training, who left her shortly after she was diagnosed with cancer in 1950, after their marriage was 2 years. She had her only child, Bongi Makeba, with him in 1950. Fortunately, she survived the breast cancer. 10 years after, the cancer revisited her, but in the form of cervical cancer. She also managed to overcome it miraculously. She began singing in the choir at a very young age, so her vocal skills had been discovered early. By the 1950s, she was singing professionally with the Cuban Brothers, the Manhattan Brothers, and the Skylarks, an all-women group. These groups play a mix of jazz, Western music, and African traditional music. The Cuban Brothers was an all-male close harmony band with whom she sang covers of popular American songs. She joined the Manhattan Brothers when she was 21. They were a jazz group that sang a blend of South African songs and pieces of some popular African American songs. She recorded her first hit with them in 1953, which was titled Lakushoni Ilanga. That hit brought her national recognition as a musician. In 1956, she joined the all-new all-women group Skylarks, also known as Sunbeams, who played a blend of jazz and traditional South African melodies. In this new group, she sang with Dorothy Masuka, whose music had been a role model for her, and Dolly Rithebe. Quite a number of her songs were famous at that time, and it was even described as a real trendsetter with harmonization that had never been heard before by Rob Hallingham, a popular music historian. Her first solo success, Lovely Lies, was released in 1956 by Galutin Records. The song later became the first song from South Africa to chart on the United States Billboard Top 100. She got a feature on the cover of Drum magazine in 1957. In 1959, she sang the lead female role in the Broadway inspired by South African jazz opera King Kong alongside Hugh Masekela. Her international recognition came when she performed in the anti-apartheid film Come Back Africa. That movie led her to perform in Venice, London, and New York City. In London, she met Harry Belafonte, an American singer who later became her mentor. He helped her in her first recordings, Pata Pata, and a version of the traditional Xhosa song Kongo Thweni Pata Pata was released years later. Pata Pata was described by Musician Magazine as a groundbreaking Afropop gem, and it became her first famous song. She married Sonny Pile, a South African ballad singer, when she was in England, but they divorced within few months. She made her New York debut at the Village Vanguard, where she sang in the Zulu and Xhosa and performed a Yiddish folk song. Her reputation grew even more rapidly from there. When she made her first move to the US, she lived in Greenwich Village, where other actors and musicians lived. She experienced some financial difficulty for a while before her music really started to pay off. So for a while, she worked as a babysitter. After the Sharpeville massacre in 1960, she learned that her mother had died along with 2 other members of her family. And when she tried to go back home for the funeral, she learned that her South African passport had been cancelled. The incident made her really worried about the state of those that were living back home, especially with the political crisis at that time. As a result, she became a very outspoken critic of apartheid and white minority government in South Africa. Her daughter, who was previously in South Africa, joined her in the US in 1960. Her first studio album, Miriam Makeba, was released in 1960 by RCA Victor with backings from Belafonte's band. RCA decided to buy out her contract with Galutin Records, and even though she couldn't perform in South Africa, Galutin received $45,000 from the deal, leaving Makeba with no royalties from her first album. As it turned out, the album wasn't a commercial success and she was dropped by the record label. But she was resigned soon afterwards when the possibility of commercial success was found as a result of the increasing interest in African culture. On her second take with the record label, her South African heritage was emphasized. She released her second album, The World of Miriam Makeba, in 1964, an early example of world music that peaked at number 85 in the Billboard 200. Her marriage to Stokely Carmichael, a Trinidad-born civil rights activist and Student Non-Violent Coordinating Committee leader in March 1968, caused her popularity in the US to reduce drastically. She was taken to be a militant and extremist, and a lot of her fans didn't like that, so they stepped back. It got so bad that the FBI and CIA placed her under surveillance. And when she traveled to the Bahamas with her husband, she was refused entry back into the US. That caused the couple to move to Guinea, where he changed his name to Kwame Ture. They got divorced in 1973. She didn't return to the US until 1987. In 1986, she got a Dag Hammarskjöld Peace Prize, and in 1996, she won a Grammy Award for Best Ethnic or Traditional Folk Recording. Also, in 2001, she was awarded an Otto Hahn Peace Medal in gold by the United Nations Association of Germany in Berlin for outstanding services to peace and international understanding. She shared the 2001 Polar Music Prize with Sofia Gubaidulina. On the 9th of November 2008, she fell sick during a concert in Castel Volturno near Caserta, Italy. She had suffered a heart attack after singing Pata Pata, her hit song. She was rushed to the hospital but was too late. Africa. No, the world lost her Mama Africa. Before her death, she was worth about $7 million. What's your take on Makeba as an African musician? Let's know in the comment section. Will this be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share and subscribe to our channel.